Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is first week matchups, and we're going to go through Vegas landscapes, rankings, and uncertainty levels. Some of this is a repeat from the other article that I did on fake pigskin, but now I'll try to put it more into context, and you'll see kind of, and I guess see as much as listen to how I'm use my own material and think about things. This is Saturday morning, so uh, you got 24 hours or so to get this down. There may be new information coming. You've got to be flexible. Uh, you can't sleep till 10 minutes before the game. You need to be thinking all times. Uh, I'm in 53 leagues this year, pretty much Saturday afternoon in between chores and Saturday night for sure. I'm working waiver wires and things, just thinking about maybe even next week. If you stream defenses, what looks good next week? Now's the time to get it. Uh, thinking ahead, thinking a couple weeks ahead. What's going on? Who's coming off IR? All this kind of stuff needs to be considered if you're serious about trying to win a majority of your leagues. I mean, I know the bottom line is to make money, but I don't just want to make a penny. I'm in for the dollars. So anyway, fake pigskin changed the color profile of the angry pig there. That burnt orange. I really like that. So I'll be posting my article with the actual figures that I'm going over here. So in case you miss what did I say about this game, you can go and actually see the metrics there. And I just want you to get used. Hopefully you'll come back. I'm gonna try to keep doing this, assuming life allows me to, and we'll continue as much as I can this season. I'm a college professor, so there you go. Everything's semesters to me. Okay, matchups. Let's roll. So game one's already happened. I didn't get a chance to talk about that. That's fine. I know what I needed to do and did it accordingly. Uh, Game two is Pittsburgh and Buffalo. Okay. Shh. So the top two rows here. I give you the date, the game, the team, estimated points using Vegas spreads and over and under points, these kind of things. You can estimate the points. This was probably Thursday or Friday's line, so it's a little bit stale. But a lot of this, once it gets deep into the week, doesn't change dramatic unless there's an injury or something dramatic, hurricane or something dramatic happening here. So estimated points: Pittsburgh 18, Buffalo 31. It's not what I say; it's what Vegas says. Buffalo is the favorite by 6.5, roughly a touchdown. And the over/under is 49, so I consider that above average. You figure 45, 46 is average, so 49 means there's going to be some scoring in here, and at least that's the idea. The thing that hits me is 18 for Pittsburgh. That just seems low. I'm not a prop better or anything, so I don't know exactly that approach or how you get deep into that. I may investigate that. I do have a way to bet right down the road at a casino. So I guess I'm fortunate. There's, some states you can't bet, but it's nothing I've really explored here. 18 just seems low to me. Okay, so take that for what you will. The next block, and so I kind of divide that there, is team, opponent, is it home or away, and these offensive DAPs, DAPs. DAP stands for defense against the position. So this is looking at the opponent's defense against the position, the points given up kind of thing. And I've manipulated the 2020 data and put it on a scale of 1 to 100. 100's the easiest, 0 is the toughest for a team to go against. And we don't have 2021 data. I will completely revamp this probably by the second or third week using this season's data. So usually by that time you're going to get pretty close. I think I did an article last year at Fake Pigskin looking at that question, and you look like about 3 weeks in wasn't 100%, but you got a good flavor of what was going to happen as far as defense against the position here. So I look at total offense, defense against the running back, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. I don't really pay attention to kicker and defense, but in case you do or need those, there they are. So the way you look at this, and I'll just verbalize this, Buffalo fights Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a tough defense, at least from last year. And so Buffalo goes against one of the toughest defenses. Buffalo gets the advantage of a home game. But look at the DAP numbers. These are pretty much 20 and below for the overall defense, the running backs, the quarterbacks, the tight ends. The only beacon of light here is the wide receivers get a face of 54. So Pittsburgh is about average at defending wide receivers. And Buffalo loves to pass to its wide receivers. Diggs is really, leads that crew. So in some ways, it's really funneling Buffalo towards a high passing volume, and I think Vegas detects that with their over-under. Still think 49 seems a bit low, given I think Buffalo's going to be passing. So I would be very cautious about using the tight ends or the running backs for Buffalo. Okay. The quarterback has an 18, so Allen's going to have to prove himself, but he gets a little bit of an advantage with his wide receivers. So maybe does that help? I know Diggs will be in there, but does that help somebody like Beasley in the slot or something, or short game? So, there may be Beasley may be having a good game this time. That's the kind of thing that it suggests anyway. So let's look at Pittsburgh. If you look at the metrics here, it's Pittsburgh against Buffalo. That's a light green, so Buffalo tends to have an easier defense. It is an away game for Pittsburgh. The home away game splits for Ben is he's always been much stronger home and away. So you got an easy defense, true, but he doesn't, I think, take advantage of that in away games. So we'll see what happens. 58 is the total offense, so that's about 8% above average. 50% is average. So Pittsburgh gets to be as competitive as they can be in an away game. And so that's why I look at 18 estimated points. That seems a little low. just seems low. The running backs, Harris gets a 51, so average. So if this guy's the next great running back, then he should perform well under average conditions. Ben gets a 53. That's average, pretty much. However, I will say the wide receivers face a little bit tougher 37. That's below average. And I think what gives Pittsburgh a way to get around this tough defense is they have three. Okay, Johnson, Juju, and Claypool. It's hard to keep all three locked up. So I think somebody like Juju might still thrive under these conditions. So I did, mention that in the Fake Pigskin article. I do kind of favor that. To me, if you're streaming tight ends this week, Ebron has as good a shot as any in his range. 86 is walkover easy. I mean, it's not 100, but it's 86. So I think he has an opportunity to catch some balls and maybe help you in PPR. Okay, maybe even catch a touchdown. So in daily fantasy sports, you can kind of see the landscape of how I think Vegas is looking, kind of how I'm reacting to that, and then the DAPs that I've generated and how, I kind of see the game. To me, this puts this into context here a little bit. So I think you should definitely figure that out. Here's Buffalo. This is team, position, player name, and then I have something called high UNC, which is high uncertainty, average uncertainty, or low uncertainty, and then the average of the fantasy sports professor ranking. That's my ranking here. 100 is the best, 0 is the worst, and I've color coded blue to red here. So Josh Allen gets a 90. Even though he's going against a really tough defense. Uncertainty is the range of outcomes. I really, you try to look for low uncertainty players that are highly ranked. So Allen fits that pretty good. So I think he will have a pretty good game. Maybe not his best game of the season for sure, but I think he's going to generate a lot of passing for you. The running backs, Singletary, Moss are about 31, and then Breida. Given the DAPs and just the nature of Buffalo, these don't seem to really figure as a strong play in your lineups unless you got no choice. The tight end, Knox also has a tough go, and I've got him at 31. So 31 means they're only 31% as good as the whole other, so 69% of tight ends are better than Knox is another way to think about it. So he's not on my radar at all. The wide receivers, I think, have an opportunity. Obviously, Diggs is good at 93. And I think Beasley's 43, maybe a little under, given the defense and just maybe how the game's stacking up. Sanders, he's a little bit higher in range of outcomes. He could do pretty good or he could do not so good, and it wouldn't surprise me here at 42. Davis at 34 and Isaiah McKenzie at 15. I think you're only looking Diggs and then maybe one of these other ones. And I'm not sure I would play Beasley or Sanders unless you were locked in, didn't have much choice. But maybe in daily fantasy sport play, Beasley's a tournament roll of the dice. So that could happen for you. This is Pittsburgh. Ben gets a 66, but that's an average, so his range of outcomes is always funky, especially away. Harris gets a 75, low uncertainty, that's good, and he gets a good landscape. So I really think if I had him, I would definitely play him. Ebron's a 32, that may be a little low given the 86 DAP there, so he could be a streaming play as well. Johnson, Shushu, and Claypool, 72, 64, 57. I think they'll catch some touchdowns, but, you know, who's getting what? I guess I favor Schuster for grabbing a touchdown, but I would definitely, wouldn't look playing any of those three. I think they've all got a shot at collecting a score. It would be dramatic if they got two scores, given the away nature and the Buffalo. So I think these numbers are a little less than on an average game that, just be aware. The next game is the Jets, Carolina. I'll try to be a little more jaunty here. Jets are 18, Carolina's 27. Carolina's favored 4.5, 5 points. 45-ish. I'm not looking to play hard in daily fantasy sports, these players. We'll just move on here. Can't figure out how to go back in this. Anyway, here's Carolina. Darnold, 68, but high uncertainty, so that's never good. McCaffrey should do okay at 100, avoiding the tight ends. Moore and Anderson are high uncertainty, but in the 70s, so they may be worth a play. I would certainly use each of them as a wide receiver 2-3 type this week. Carolina's favored. They have a pretty good defense. It should all work out. The Jets are going to have to climb through. Carolina has a tougher defense. Wilson's a 63, so near average, but in low uncertainty. The rushing is confusing and uncertain. Coleman is figured to be the best, but he has high uncertainty. Carter is safer, but a 28. There's just nothing there that really drives me in to that or the tight end. Davis at 57 is probably your wide receiver 3 play of the week. Moore could also be close to that. Crowder's out. So I think in daily fantasy sports, I would probably play Davis. But if I had Moore and it was wide receiver 3, so you had 3 wide receivers, he could be a gamble there. I wouldn't really look to play him, but I would play him if I had to. Jacksonville, Houston. Jacksonville's favored 25-19, 45 points. It's not a great scoring game. I think the offense are bleh. The defense, the reason they're even at 45 is I think Houston and Jacksonville both are facing easy defenses. And so look at the DAPs. The Houston, 98, 87, 79. The worst is the wide receivers at 60, the tight end 57. So everything is above average. And it looks like James Robinson should have, who's it? Lindsey and Johnson and Ingram, I don't know, should have a shot at scoring, maybe even 2 scores. Jacksonville has great opportunity to pass and run. I would avoid the tight end for Jacksonville, probably for Houston as well, but for sure Jacksonville. Uh, looking for, so the James Robinson has 100 to face, which is the easiest you can have. So he should really come out of the gate rocking and rolling. I would definitely be looking to use him in daily fantasy sports as well. Houston, the Tyrod Taylor's at 61. He just, hadn't made it to that top elite level, and he has a high range of uncertainty, even though it's an easy game. I got Johnson and Lindsey 25, 32. I mean, wide receiver 3, 4 types. Maybe in a daily fantasy tournament gamble, I might play Lindsey. I'd avoid the tight ends. Cooks should collect a lot of scores and a lot of catches and could score. Nico Collins as well could surprise, and Anthony Miller, don't forget, and Conley. Those guys have had some good games in the past. It seems a little murky past Cooks for me. I would definitely play Cooks as my wide receiver 3 type. But the other 3 probably just daily fantasy sports. Jacksonville, Lawrence, I think he's going to shine well. 75 is not bad. Low uncertainty. James Robinson should, 74 may still be too low. So I'm really, I guess, probably overly optimistic on him. I do have him quite a few shares, so I'm probably biased that way. That made me more of a hope than reality. But 74 is not bad and should collect, a rushing score or 2 and points. Avoid the tight ends. Chenault, Baby Shark, and Jones are all together. They're just wide receiver 3 types. So picking the play, I guess if I had any one of those 3 and I didn't have other choice, it could be worse. Their range of uncertainty, though, is a little higher than I like. I would love to see more low uncertainty plays at 50 and above, but you got what you got. Shark is a little bit more all or none kind of play, boom or bust. Chenault and Jones should be a lot more steady. Would definitely play them as my wide receiver 3 if I needed. Daily fantasy sports, Jones maybe if I had to play. I mean, look, the defense against position really points to an opportunity here, but you got 3 that are kind of 3 wide receivers that are kind of alike. So you got an opportunity, but which one do you play kind of? And it's the zigzag, whichever one you pick in your tournament, the other one will go off. So that makes it tough that way. Next game is Arizona, Tennessee. Tennessee 29, Arizona 23. I think Murray's going to make it even closer than that. I'm not sure 3 points spread there. I don't know. Over and under a 52 means that's high, so they're expecting fireworks. Fireworks. So I believe that. Arizona gets Tennessee, which is real easy. That's why that green's there. Tennessee gets Arizona, which is above average easy. So each one gets probably an opportunity offensively to do what they need to do and see who's better at it. That's why I think Arizona might cover that spread there. The overall is 100 versus 58, so Tennessee has a little tougher. I love the wide running back 63. Look at the quarterback from our 83 wide receivers. Oh my goodness, 93. so they should have their pick and choice of how many scores they get. This could really be more of a shootout than Vegas thinks. Tennessee, on the other hand, with Henry, he faces an average, but an average Henry is still pretty good. Tannehill gets a 69, but his tight end and wide receivers are a little bit below average. So, I think that limits Tennessee a little bit. So 29 may be overly optimistic, 23 may be under there. So that just seems, I think this game's going to be closer than we think. And I would think the over is a good possibility. I think Murray, with these DAPs and the wide receivers, it should be points galore. Murray has a 93 low uncertainty. That's about the best quarterback of the week. I mean, 100 would be the best. I think Edmonds at 52 is a good wide receiver 3 play this week. Connor could surprise with passing out of the backfield even in your daily fantasy sports. He could provide some secret plays here. So I'm not, he's definitely a wide receiver 4 in redraft, but, he could be worth a gamble for getting the tight ends here. Hopkins is high uncertainty, folks, but a 93. So he should get 2 scores. Should. But he's high uncertainty, so I probably would only bank on 1. Moore could surprise. People been, I think, sleeping on him a little bit. He may be your daily fantasy sports play at a wide receiver 4 type. Don't know what Green's going to do, or Kurt. I think I'll just watch and learn there. Tennessee, Tannehill's at 81, not bad. Kind of like Murray, low uncertainty. Henry gets at 82 against about an average, so he should score 1, could score 2. This could be a Henry game. Fisker, 34, boy, I think I can find somebody like Ebron to stream this week. Brown and Jones should be the Thunder and Lightning approach. I think Brown is safer play than Jones. Both are wide receiver 1-2 types. Probably Brown's my wide receiver 1. Jones is a solid wide receiver 2. Both of them are worthy plays in a daily fantasy sports. Probably Brown for a cash game. Maybe Julio for a tournament play there. Reynolds and Rogers, not today. Okay, let's move to the next game. Chargers, Washington. Chargers are favored. Vegas said the spread should be 1, so basically it's a toss-up. 48 points, so they're expecting some fireworks. Not sure I'm expecting as much as they are. Washington's pretty tough. The Chargers face Washington, very tough team. Look at these DAPs, 15, 19, 30, 18. Looks like the best play is Jared Cook. It has a 39 DAP. That's still, he might be worth a deep stream this week. Eckler, injured, and he's going to be facing a tough defense. I hope he comes out okay. I have concerns about the stress he'll be under all day versus Washington. Herbert facing a 30 is tough, so we'll see if he's earning his paycheck there. I guess I had concerns about that. Washington could surprise, I think. They could actually win. The Chargers, easy defense, not the easiest, but above average here. 56, 56, 69. So Fitz magic, hopefully, not Fitz tragic today. Fitz magic. Looks like his Gibson, whatnot, will face 56. Not bad. It's wide receivers. Chargers do good against wide receivers. Tight end. There's Logan right there. That opens the door for him to have a great game. So that's what it looks like to me, that McLaurin's going to have to work for his scores there. So that's kind of the landscape. Let's look at the ratings. Herbert 76. He's in the top 12. Low uncertainty. That's good. Eckler, high uncertainty. You rake him 79. But look at the high uncertainty. That means the range of outcomes could be really nice to really poor. And that really worries me. And the other three, if something were to happen to Eckler in the game, I don't know. You can't play any of the other ones. So either play Eckler and hope that, his injuries and whatnot don't catch up with him. But just be aware, even though he's close to running back 2 this week, that's our uncertain number 2. Cook is 34. His outcomes could be all over the place. Catch 1 or 2, or he could catch 5 or 6 and score. I mean, I guess in a tournament play, in daily fantasy sports, he might be worth a gamble. Keenan Allen and Williams. Williams may be red zone, but boy, the Washington are tough. And both of those guys, Allen close to your wide receiver 1-2 this week. I play him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has a below average game given the defense and the stress that Justin could be under. Williams, he's boomer bust all the time. Who knows? He's a tournament play only for me. I wouldn't really put him in my lineups unless I had no other choice for wide receiver 3-4 type. So Allen, I play wide receiver 1 if I drafted him, but and Eckler as well. But I'm on pins and needles this game. Washington, Fitzmagic, hopefully this time. 69, roughly 70, so he should be potentially in the top 12, lower top 12. Gibson could really put on a show for us, and he could really surprise. He may be a running back 1 this week, 2, running back 2. So he does have some, a range of uncertainty here, but I say a play. McKissick could even surprise and slip in some catches and a score. So this could be an interesting running back centric game here. McLaurin, 83, but high uncertainty because I'm just not sure how this is going to go. Samuel's out. Humphrey could be your PPR guy. Get you 8-10 points. Nothing dramatic, but if you got to have somebody, if you're, it could be, he could be a stash as well. If Samuel doesn't come back, Humphrey could move up to number 2. Logan Thomas is 58, but I believe that he should score and get you some points. I think this is a good week for him. Not a great week. It's a good week. So if I drafted him as my tight end 1, he's going to be a late tight end one. He could deliver. He could deliver this week. I'm expecting more of a run game here, a little bit less passing. But I think Washington could keep this close and could win, and the points could be lower than you think. Philadelphia to Atlanta. Atlanta figures over Philadelphia. I think maybe near 28-21, at least when I estimated, but 48-49 points, so there's going to be some fireworks, I figure, there with Atlanta, and Calvin Ridley and Ryan should collect some points here. Atlanta goes against Philadelphia, which is a fairly easy defense. Mike Davis, however, faces a 22, so I think that's going to funnel the action towards passing. Pitts and Hurst, don't forget him, 79, nice. Wide receiver Ridley and maybe Gage. So I could see 4 touchdowns here, 2 for the tight ends, 2 for the wide receivers. Yep, I think Davis just, keeps it going, but he might collect a red zone maybe. Maybe. Philadelphia, they have a shot. It is an away game, but Atlanta's defense is sucky. But Sanders faces a 12. Again, I think Philadelphia is going to be behind, and it's the wide receivers and tight ends that are going to get to play here. And this game could be closer than people think. Given these DAPs, Philadelphia could get 3-4 touchdowns. So this over could be conservative. And I really believe we could have 3-4 touchdowns with Philadelphia, 4 touchdowns with Atlanta. This could be the shootout here that people are not predicting right here. Interesting. Hurts, 82. Low uncertainty seems reachable. Sanders faces a tough road. I put him in a 63. This is not his week. And look, he's high uncertainty. Tricky. He could deliver, maybe slip in a score or two. But he could be skunked as well. Not seeing anything from the other players. The tight ends could score, but they do split up each other's points, 54-34, Ertz, Goddard. Which one do you play? I think either one could score. Both could score, but either one could score. I think for streaming this week, these guys might be your a stream consideration. Devonta Smith, 56. That may be a little low, given I think low uncertainty. He could shine this game. This could be his coming out party, and could surprise. Jalen Reagor could also slip in a score at 36. I guess I'm probably a little more optimistic than I was when I made these rankings. Slot play Watkins, he could collect some PPR points as well. I think Smith could be a good daily fantasy sports tournament shoot for the moon. He could get 2 scores. Or he could get 0. But I really think he's going to do well. So I would definitely consider him in my tournament play. Atlanta, Ryan, high uncertainty. Could go a lot of different ways here. 74, not bad. Davis, 67. If all works right, he should collect a score, some yardage. But I consider him high uncertainty given the DAP he's facing and it wouldn't surprise me he could get skunked. Okay. Pitts should collect a score as a wide receiver too, even though he's a tight end. And Hurst has a shot at a red zone catch. So he's a possible stream. Ridley should collect 2 scores, 97. Gage could slip in as well. So I really like both of those and would play. I don't know about the other 3. I think there would have to be an injury in the game, which we don't want. And, I think if I was just playing the waiver wire, I would consider Zacharias. Is that how you say it? Zacharias? Maybe have him as an injury wide receiver only if you have a deep bench. I might take him before Sunday just to go ahead and have him stashed. Because if Ridley were to miss some time or Gage, that really puts him next man up. I know Pitts is that. It could be Ridley, Pitts, and then a third. So we could be talking about a third choice here. But still, in a high-flying offense, passing all the time, this guy could be worth something as a handcuff. Okay, let's go. Next game, Seattle, Indianapolis. Seattle should win 27-21, 49 points. Vegas says 2.5. Above average, they're expecting points and points. That seems reasonable. Indianapolis is going to make this close and, 21, 3 touchdowns. Seattle's defense has not been as strong as it was historically. The DAPS here for Indianapolis, Taylor goes against 51. QB is 81 and the wide receivers 100 and the tight ends at 57. So to me, I see a balanced game with Indianapolis kind of passing more than running, but not much more. And so I think Indianapolis is not going to go off script unless it has to. So Seattle is going to have to push Indianapolis to get off their balanced approach here. So I think the game script helps Taylor, but if he gets out of hand early and Seattle gets up, Taylor could not collect as many points as you think, and the wide receivers will be and the tight ends will be in play. Seattle faces Indianapolis, which is tougher than average. They go into 36 for the Carson, the running back. Wilson gets a 32. Wide receivers get an average game, roughly 47, and the tight ends are probably forget about it. May get lucky and get something, but they're going against the 19. So that's kind of tough. Seattle figures to, and I guess how the script goes early, it could go strong passing early, and if they get up, they could rely more on Carson or the other running backs. There's a lot of ways this game could actually play out. So it's sometimes the numbers are pretty clear and sometimes it's murky. This is a little bit more murky here on how this goes. I'm just it is how it is. Wilson gets a 79, but an average uncertainty. So there is that kind of range of outcomes here. I mean, if we drafted Wilson, you probably got him as your number 1. There's no other choice. You go with it. Carson also gets that mid-average uncertainty at 67, so more of a RB2 type. So I think that's probably where he ends up. And depending on the script, he could be, he could get close to running back one numbers, or he could disappoint you with a 3 or 4 production. So I think you've got some decisions to make if you play Carson, if you've got other choices. Let me say that. I think I'll skip the tight ends. I mean, Everett at his day could get something, and who knows? I think there are other streamers that I would play over him, but he's not just totally surprising. Oh, he caught a score, I'm surprised. No, but I'm not, I'm not putting all my eggs in his basket by any means. The Metcalf and Lockett figure to be the 1-2. I think Metcalf should collect wide receiver 1 amount. Lockett is high uncertainty and could give you wide receiver 4 or 1 levels. It could be a real passing firework, and Lockett could get a score or 2, and Metcalf could get a score. I mean, these guys could put 4 touchdowns easily and wouldn't surprise me. I figure they're good for 2, but 4 is not out of the question. And just depends on the script of the game and how Indianapolis, I think, does. So this Seattle, how much it scores is almost dependent on how Indianapolis can do. I think Seattle will control the script if it can. Wentz, 62 average. Uncertainty, yeah, he's, to me, lackluster. I would hate to have him as my 1. In a super flex league, it's probably fine. Taylor, I figure, is a 75. He's close to the 1 levels. Hines could collect in some out of the backfield, especially if the script goes against Indianapolis and they abandon the run. Hines could actually produce and get you more. So I think that's the gamble. Certainly in a tournament DFS play, Hines could be a surprise there. Could be worth a gamble. Taylor seems like for sure he'll collect. Let's just say I hope he collects his early, because this could go off the rails quick. Tight ends, Doyle Cox. This is not sure this is the week that they collect a lot. Pittman, a lot of talk, but I still got him at a 51, so he's a wide receiver 3 for me, kind of at his average. He could get a 2 level or would surprise me at a 4. Like I said, it depends on the script. If they can take Taylor and control and keep Seattle off balance, I'm not sure the wide receivers are going to get a lot of action. So to me, I would play Pittman if I had to have 3 wide receivers, but I wouldn't play him if I had to have 2. I would be looking elsewhere. Campbell, he's a gamble as well as Pascal. Probably staying away from those unless maybe in a tournament you think, something wacky happens there. So that's kind of what I see here. It's a really, I guess this is the game to me that seems more murky. I think people might think it's more straightforward than I do. I don't think it's straightforward. Next game, Minnesota-Cincinnati. Minnesota's favored by about a touchdown or so. The spread's 3. I think Minnesota can cover that. Over under, I think 48. It could go over. Minnesota could really do some damage here. Cincinnati does get a home game. That helps them. Cincinnati goes against Minnesota. And Minnesota's fairly easy defense. 50 for Mixon. It's an okay. He's a running back 2 type. The quarterback, Burrow, 32, but his wide receiver's 56. Tight end's 36. So looks to me like this could be, if Cincinnati gets off and keeps Minnesota, keeps a balance, then they'll have Mixon going and some of the wide receivers going as well. So they could, keep closer than people think if that scenario occurs. Minnesota versus Cincinnati, 50s all the way across. Look at the 73 for the tight end. Irv Smith could surprise folks right there. There it is. He's got an opportunity. Let's just say this is a game to gauge him, to see, what he might do the whole season. Cook should keep it rocking and rolling at an average game. So when somebody's a RB1 in an average game, he should deliver a couple scores. And then Thielen and Jefferson could deliver some score. It could be 4 scores. It should be closer to 28 here. Like I said, Minnesota could run up the score quick and throw Cincinnati completely off. I think that's more likely than not is what's going to happen. And I'm not sure Burrow is ready for that skewed scenario for him. Again, Cousins, a game manager, 71. It's probably a low QB1 type this week. If you did a late QB, definitely you want to play him. Cook, he should get 2 scores. 94. Low uncertainty. He seems like a solid cash game play here. I'm sorry, it wasn't Irv Smith. It was Conklin. Where did Irv Smith go? I had figured Carolina? No. I don't know where he went. Is he hurt? I don't know. Did I do it wrong? Anyway, forget the tight ends then. Jefferson and Thielen, figure 86. Jefferson gets at least a score, and Thielen should get a score. But these guys could score 3 between them. I'm not sure the other 2, just, if a tip drill and one of them catches something. Okay. This is the main play. I think Minnesota, Cook is going to score first, and then Minnesota's going to put the nail down in Cincinnati's coffin with Jefferson and or Thielen, and then Cook is going to take over. It's possible, if this game gets really out of hand, that Madison gets a shot here, and I hope they do pull Cook. We don't need any more injuries if you drafted Cook. So get the game in hand and then pull Cook and let Madison take the banging and the running out the clock. Cincinnati Burrow is average, 73. He's could be a low end QB1 this week. Depends on scenarios. Mixon figures to keep them in the game, but he's not as dynamic as I think Cincinnati needs to beat Minnesota. I think he'll score a score and get some yardage, but I'm not overly optimistic. Not sure the tight ends are worth our time. Higgins at 70 and Boyd at 70. I'm sorry, Higgins 71, Boyd 70, and Chase is the wild card at 56. These guys could score a couple scores. I mean, it looks like Mixon and these, wide receivers get 3 scores total, and that's not going to be enough. Minnesota has more offensive power than that, and it's hard to see Higgins or Boyd scoring 2 touchdowns, and the other one score a touchdown or 2. But I think that's what it's going to take for Cincinnati to win. Just don't think Mixon can provide enough firepower to keep Cincinnati from not be put behind the 8 ball and having to pass and pass. If that's the scenario, Higgins, Boyd, Chase could collect. Mixon doesn't score, and these guys get a score apiece. I think in a daily fantasy play, it might be worth Chase or Boyd. They're probably cheaper than Higgins in the salary. But as you see my numbers, I don't know what the salary numbers are, but I think Boyd and Higgins are probably not that close together. Maybe they are. I don't know how they priced them. Chase may be the best bargain here as a roll of the dice tournament play. Frisco and Detroit. San Francisco should crush Detroit pretty hard, and I'm probably being, I think 50 points, and I think over and under 45, I think they'll go over that. 45, I think Vegas is a little low, and the spread's 7. I think it's maybe 10. I think Frisco's going to come out swinging, and it could be with the rushing, Mostert and whatnot. I think they're going to be balanced, and they're going to get ahead of Detroit and never look back. Detroit faces a tough Frisco, and score-wise, the defense of Frisco could score a run back or 2, and that could help go over the 45 points. 26, 25, 24, 40, and 0. Hawkinson earns his paycheck here, and he's been a little banged up. I mean, if you drafted him and don't have any other choice, play him, but boy, I'm concerned in a lot of ways about him. He has, I'm concerned. The wide receivers could surprise. They might score a point or 2 and could help Detroit stay in the mix. I don't know. Frisco figures. Look at these DAPs. 104, 99, 100, 84. Kittle has the toughest game at 40, and he still probably should come through with a score. Probably not a 2-score game, but a 1-score game. Look at this. Frisco figures to score nicely. Garofalo, 67. I'm assuming he gets the start. Lance is not ready yet. Garofalo, though, has high uncertainty because he does get a little wacky sometimes. Mostert, Sermon could provide 2 scores here. Mostert's a little bit more uncertain. I think Sermon could be a tournament play here for you. Mostert's a RB2 type this week. Kittle, I do have an 83, but he's going to have to earn his score this week. It's not the easiest week for him, but he probably should provide a score. Ayuk and Samuel, for both healthy and ready, I think they can provide a score each. I really do. So again, whoever's cheaper might be the play in daily fantasy. If one is hurt, Sanu is always good for a touchdown every once in a while, and maybe this is the week. Everybody was like, is he still playing? He could be. Who knows? So let's see. Is that okay? So Detroit. Goff at 54. He's definitely QB2 this, and he's high uncertainty. This could go really good. Well, really good for him versus really bad. Swift, don't think he can carry this team, but I think he's going to be needed. If Detroit gets behind, Jamal Williams could be the pass catcher and actually do better than Swift. Depends on the game script. I think daily fantasy points The tournament play, Williams may be a secret play. Hawkinson, I got 83, but his high uncertainty could be a 20 or an 83. I just don't know how it's going to go. I don't think Detroit can rely on Hawkinson, all the time. Williams is going to have to step up. Swift, Tyrell Williams, Amon-Ra, and Cephas, I figure they're all the same. And maybe there's a score. They just don't have any wide receivers that provides enough dynamic firepower for Detroit to catch up and pass Frisco if Frisco gets ahead by a couple scores. This is not a good scenario for Detroit, and unfortunately I believe this is going to be Detroit's play of the whole season. They're going to be struggling, and there's going to be a lot more passing than one might think. So I was all in on Williams early, is somebody a good flex play throughout the season just because of this game script scenario here. Okay. Cleveland, Kansas City. Kansas City should propel their team above Cleveland 2 scores easily. That's how I figure. And over and under 83 seems like a given. So Kansas City should do well. Cleveland faces a tough Kansas City, not the toughest. Okay, light red. 48, 59, 56, 18. Look at this. Landry, OBJ, look at this. I think the tight ends at 83 could surprise folks and could be a tournament play in here with Hooper, Njoku, right here. Here it is. And, the Hunt and Chubb figures to be a pretty good game. Not a great game, but a pretty good game. So they could provide some scores as well. Kansas City should crush Cleveland. Look at that easy score. 77-31. Okay, Solaire owners, this is not that week. But look at this week. Look at Kelsey, 94. Are you kidding me? 2 scores for Kelsey, and Tyreek grabs a score or 2. We're talking at least 4 touchdowns or more here from the wide receivers, tight ends, and probably Holmes slips one, runs one in too. They should get at least 33, 35 points. So I think if Cleveland can just wake up and score enough, you can get a nice over-under play here. And let's see kind of how I got it. So Kansas City, Mahomes, best quarterback, little bit uncertain. It could be better, but he's going to be passed. A little stressed on all pass all the day. Solaire, 68, faces a tough DAP, and I got him at high range of outcomes, so he could be a 2, he could be a 4. Don't think he's a 1 this week. Kelsey, 2 scores. He should just knock it into the dirt here. Tyreek, knock it in the dirt, 2 scores. I think there's 4 touchdowns right there, and Holmes runs one in that's 5 scores right there. Hardman, Robinson, one of these guys, Pringle maybe grabs 1. This could be all over earlier than we think. And, hopefully Kelsey can get his scores and Tyreek early before Cleveland just flips over and it gets to be ridiculous. So this could be quite the fright ship for Cleveland. Mayfield at 70. If you picked him as your 1, I guess you're stuck with him, but this is not the week to really play him. Chubb at 70, Hunt at 53. Hunt's probably the better play at daily fantasy sports because he's cheaper and he could collect in pass catching. I'm not sure Chubb is going to get an opportunity to really show his stuff here. So just be aware of that. Hooper is a good streaming option this week, 39 even, because of the DAP. So I think they're going to be pushed to passing, and I think Hooper could collect. Njoku could, but I like Hooper twice over Njoku. OBJ is high uncertainty. He had some banged up injuries. Landry should be your PPR machine, collect and collect and collect. Could get a touchdown from either one of these, but it's hard to guess for sure. They seem to be wide receiver 3, 4 types this week. I think Hunt is probably going to surprise of all these, and Hooper, I think, are surprising this week. New England, Miami. New England should double up on Miami. 44. I think that's low. I'm right there at 44. I'm thinking it could be higher. Miami faces a tough New England. Boy, this is tough. Tua going against Miami in an away game. Tough. Look at the DAP, 19. So it looks like Miami Gaskins gets an opportunity to score for us at a 50 an average game. Look at the DAP and the wide receivers and the tight ends. Gesicki, that's almost as bad as Hockenson. Boy, I think this could go really wrong for Miami quick. So I hope Gaskins can grab a score or so early before this just gets off the rails. New England, Miami's still fairly tough. 41, 28, 36. Wide receivers, 56. There's your key right there. And the tight ends, 43. I think that's where the play comes. I know Harris, but of 28, I think Miami is going to bottle him up. He's not going to have his best week this week. So I think New England's going to be having to pass more. Mac Jones, 56, but I think, he is what he is, low uncertainty. Harris at 56, hopefully he can score something if you got him as your RB2, but he could be an RB3, 4 type at the end of the game, so just be aware. James White, if the script gets crazy and Miami does luck into getting close, White could do better than Harris. But right now, he figures not to and just be a PPR, and hopefully you can get a wide RB3, 4 type out of it. Smith and Henry. Smith should collect a score. Henry should collect a score. But it wouldn't surprise me that neither collected a score. They're both high uncertainty. So this is, I don't know. If you drafted one over the other, I guess as a tight end 2. I hope not a tight end 1. Maybe you play them. Maybe you help. This is one of your stream plays. Smith figures, but I don't know. Myers could deliver a score. He's average uncertainty. Aguilar is what he is. He's a 4. Could collect. Bourne, 27. But I think the passing, Mac Jones could deliver to Myers and maybe Aguilar. So, and White, if they need to pass a lot because Miami's really tough and it's a low-scoring game, then I think it will be Myers and White, the score leaders. Miami, Tua's 65, but he's high uncertainty. He could be a 2. He could be a quarterback 3 this week. Gaskin, I think you better grab his early because it's going to go off the rails in the second half. Gesicki, if he can just get you some points, if you grab him as your tight end 1, good luck. This is tough week for Gesicki. Parker and Waddle figure One of them's going to score, maybe both. And Parker has more uncertainty and range of outcome. So I guess Waddle should be the play as your wide receiver 3 type this week. Denver and the Giants. Denver figures to beat the Giants, but it's closer than people think. 42 seems pretty low. I think that's a beatable over-under. I don't know what the latest score, over-under is. Spread 3 points. I think Denver will cover that. Denver versus the Giants. I think the Giants have a better defense, maybe. They're going to deliver 57, 32, 37, 41. Looks to me like the running backs are favored here, but Noah Fant is next in line. So it could be a short tight end passing game with the running backs moving Denver slowly, dragging the Giants down the field. But the Giants could, get some. Their defense could score them a touchdown or two. Giants versus Denver. It's a tough. 41, 51, 37, 20, 26. Looks like Barkley. It's Barkley's game this week. Sterling Shepard may collect something, but he's got a tough row to hoe, as well as his quarterback. And Ingram is out, so not sure the tight end is in play this week. Denver, Bridgewater should be a game manager. 67, he's your QB2, seems reasonable. Gordon and Javonte Williams should be 1A, 1B, and both could score. I think if Denver doesn't get too far ahead, I think Williams might be more dynamic and get some catching out of the backfield. So he could be favored. If Denver gets ahead, I think Gordon could be the play. So depending on the game script, depending on which one of these RB3s could be an RB2 this week. So I think if I drafted Gordon, I'd play him. Williams, I think you're stuck with playing both of them as a 2 type, even though they could end up a 3 or 4 type for you this week. Fant should collect points, 56, but his range of outcome is not settled at all. It's high, but has an advantage here. Bridgewater can connect to Fant, and Fant could score. He could be a wide receiver 1, tight end 1 this week, or 3. His range of outcomes is certainly not set at all. Jerry and Cortland are the same receiver, wide receiver 3 type this week. If Denver gets ahead, they may not get as many points. If the Jets, the Giants keep it close, then Jerry and Cortland may actually be in the 2, wide receiver 2. Both of them could be. They could both score if Denver needs them. But it's very possible that Denver gets up early and relies on running and slowing the game down and maybe hitting Fant to try to, move the chains. And you don't need a big play from any of the wide receivers. So definitely the over-under is 42 for a reason. Vegas is not foolish. But I can see scenarios where, Denver is pushed a little bit and could be passing more than we think and, collecting some points. Barkley, okay, Jones at 60 seems reasonable. High uncertainty. Who knows what we're going to get from him? Barkley should be the main play that the Giants use, and he should rush, maybe catch something out of the backfield, and if he can be healthy, could get 2 scores. He could be your RB1 this week, no problem. He could be your RB3 this week, problem. Uh, Ingram's out, Rudolph 25. I'm a pass. Sterling, Galladay's out. Sterling, Slayton, Tony, I think he needs some seasoning, so Shepard could score a point. Shepard's a 3-4. He could be a 2 this week and could be a tournament play. If I've got him, I would play him as a wide receiver 3 type. Darius could be a low flex play as well. If the Giants get behind, they're going to be moving from Barkley and having to pass. And Ingram is usually their chain mover, and he's not there. So that puts Shepard and Slayton out there. We'll see. If Tony collects one, then everybody's going to be talking about him. But the game script just meant that he was favored. So I could see Barkley early on, and then the game getting out of hand, and Shepard and Slayton delivering some PPR goodness to you late in the game, some garbage time situation, them trying to catch up. Green Bay, New Orleans. Green Bay figures for sure to crush New Orleans. It's a new situation. New Orleans, do they even have a wide receiver now? I don't know what's going on down there. Green Bay, Rodgers, he gets Cobb back. He's got Adams. He's got his tight end, Aaron Jones. Green Bay's going to be balanced unless it has to get out of balance. If New Orleans can't keep up with them, Green Bay's going to flip to the Jones script and he'll collect 2 scores or more. If New Orleans can be competitive, Green Bay may have to pass more. So really, I think it depends on whether over and under, whether New Orleans can keep up, and there's no guarantee. Both of them face some of the toughest defenses they'll face this season. Green Bay, New Orleans, Green Bay, both are tough. Look at that. Green Bay gets a 13. Aaron Jones gets a 0 DAP. That's the toughest of the week. Rodgers, 23, 38, and his tight end, 41. So the DAP says it's going to be passing, and Aaron Jones is going to struggle. New Orleans, Green Bay, it says Kamara has the day at 62. So Kamara all day, all night, 2 scores plus. The wide receivers at a 12, the tight end 14. Looks like it's Kamara's going to have to keep them in the game. They lost Murray, so I don't know if that was a good play or not. Not sure it was. Winston, he is a gunslinger, and it could turn into Corral fighting here. Lots of passing. Hill could surprise, acts like a tight end. Kamara's the show, 93. Is that going to put stress on Kamara? I worry about his injury, and I tried to grab Jones wherever I could. That's why I got so much Murray this year, because I was just thinking this is a tough season for Kamara. And, of course, now I've got about 14 shares of Murray here for Baltimore, so maybe it worked out for me. I didn't get enough Jones. But if Kamara goes down, Jones could really pay off for you. Troutman and Juwan, I'm just, maybe if the New Orleans just, the gunslinger comes out, maybe these guys grab something. I wouldn't count on it. Callaway is figured at 50. If this gets crazy, he could score or 2. Twan Smith is out, and so that puts Harris up next, and Humphrey. Could get a score. These guys could surprise, so that might be your tournament play there. Maybe you hope one or two of these, the deep ones here, score. But I think it seems to be Kamara's show, and he should get the first crack at multiple scores. Rogers at 84. Aaron Jones, given the DAP, I put him at average uncertainty at 81. He should be a 2 because of that DAP, but he, range of outcome, he could be the 1. Remember that was 2020 data, so maybe New Orleans is weaker on running backs. Tanyan figures to score, folks. This is his week, so he could collect. So he's a good streaming option. Adams should do well. And, everybody's thinking Cobb, maybe Cobb. I'm not depending on MVS or Lazard or Cobb or Rogers. I mean, maybe a touchdown among the 4. I'm thinking Adams could get 2. Aaron gets, Rogers runs in 1. Tanyan gets 1. Jones gets 1. What is that? 2, 4, 5 touchdowns, 35 points. This could get crazy out of hand for Green Bay. Could be. Okay, let's move. Chicago and the Rams. Chicago figures to be beat soundly by the Rams. 45 points over and under. Probably is about right. The spread, Rams may do better than that. It's hard to tell. I wouldn't be betting on this game as far as those numbers. Chicago faces the Rams. Tough defense. 0, 22, 0, 0. Chicago, it's only a shot as far as this is the tight end should have an opportunity to score easier than everybody else. The Rams, Chicago's still fairly tough. 35 overall. 37, 21. Look at the Rams 100. Easiest of the week. And so was that Waller? Man, Waller's going to collect 2 scores. Man, that's good. Chicago, Dalton should start 45. Montgomery, 64. He should probably early in the game get an opportunity to score. I believe the game gets out of hand fairly quickly. Komet gets a 33. Is Graham on Chicago? Or is he with the Giants? I'm not sure that's right. I have to check that. Anyway, Komet has an opportunity, for a tournament play only in daily fantasy sports. Not much of a streaming option for me. I guess I'd be desperate. Robinson should collect a score. Mooney has an opportunity. Don't know about the other 3. If the game gets out of hand, Robinson could score twice, or Mooney, garbage time scoring. It could be those guys could really collect 3 or 4 touchdowns. If, Dalton can do it, I don't know. We'll find out. I think Montgomery could be shut down later. But he could get some red zone opportunities. So if I had Montgomery, I would definitely play him as my RB1 2 type this week, probably more of a 2 than a 1. So that's how I'd play that, but I'm not overly optimistic about Chicago's players in general. Rams Stafford should deliver the goods, 77. If you drafted him as your 1, I'd play him as my 1, but he has high uncertainty this week, so the range of outcomes there. Henderson and Michelle 24 may be a little light there. I could see him doing better than we think. But right now, I think Henderson should have the lead. He's been there the longest and should, collect a score and some points. But Michelle could surprise people. He might be a deep tournament play. Higbee. Oh, it was not Waller. It's Higbee. Okay. Higbee should really be the play this week. 47's probably a little low for him. He would definitely be a streaming option for me this week. Strong streaming. Could be even a cash play, but for sure a tournament play. Woods and Cup should collect early and often, but their range of outcomes is high because Stafford is brand new and Chicago's not just a flip over defense either. So I think they should both get a score, but may not be the best week they'll have this season. But if you drafted either one as your 1, you got to go with it, no doubt. Curious to see how Van Jefferson's going to do. Jackson, for as long as he's healthy, is always good for a long streaming bomb. Just don't know his health. Curious to see how he plays. Like Higbee. Baltimore and Vegas, it's the Monday night. Baltimore should crush the Rams and should go over the 51 and certainly beat the spread. Should. Jackson, the quarterback, just may run all night. Baltimore faces an easy Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. 87-84. Murray could surprise us this week if he gets on the board. Look at 84. I don't know. It seems those guys are tricky anyway. Jackson, 65. He should tear it up, and I think Hollywood Brown should collect a score. Andrews figures to have an average game. He should collect. The Raiders, Baltimore's fairly tough. 32, 37, 44, 28, 29. So Waller gets a 60, which is not bad. So Waller has the best shot of scoring for the Raiders. So he might get 1 or 2 scores. Waller should play. Lamar Jackson, I got him at 97. He's quarterback number 2 this week. A little bit tricky with all the running backs going down and the defense a little funky. They lost their, was it CB? I don't remember who they lost. Peters, maybe? Anyway, Jackson should run in and get lots of rushing yards and collect. Tyson Williams, 59. Murray, 35. Bell, 25. Cannon, and I think Freeman's on there somewhere in the practice squad. I think he'll stay there for a while, but if any more injuries, Freeman should come in. We'll see if Bell's got anything. I'm sure they'll dial up something for him. Murray should be able to take over this backfield, but we'll see. Maybe that's just me hoping. This week, it's hard to tell. One of them should deliver scores and goodness. It's just probably Williams, could be Murray, doubt it's Bell. Andrews should score as well, but he could be a 1, he could be a 3, so, a 2. So, but he's definitely a cash game consideration this week. Hollywood Brown should score. Watkins can score. Some of the other ones probably not. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing to these guys. I think Andrews will collect those short passes, or maybe Murray out of the backfield. I think Jackson's going to run. So I think Baltimore still has an opportunity to really crush down on the Raiders. Carr gets a 65. I think he's got a better shot than you think. Baltimore's a little bit shakier with the injuries on the defense. Jacobs, 58. He could be a 2, could be a 4. Drake, I guess if the Raiders get out of hand, Drake could collect for you. He could be a surprise and a tournament play. Waller should get 2 scores at 93 low. He should collect. Edwards, Ruggs, Renfro, they're all the same. Okay. Should catch some catches, PPR, but pick one. I'm going with Ruggs, but I drafted both of these guys as my 5. So I don't know. I'm not sure I'd play any of them. But if you got to play one as a wide receiver 3, good luck, because they're probably more 4 and 5s this week. Waller should get 2. Jacobs might get 1. Drake might get 1. Could surprise this week. These guys might luck into 1. Okay, that's my 20-cent tour. Oh my goodness. Sorry I'm putting you through an hour and a half. My bad. Okay, but you got to talk. Okay. Come back next week. We'll try to do this again. Hopefully I'm helping you. Hopefully not hurting you too bad. Okay, for the process, Dr. John Bush signing off.